Well, hello, welcome back to White Horse Youth Devotionals. It's good to see you again. Hope you had a happy holiday with your family and your friends. We are going to be changing a little bit of our youth devotions for this next year. We've been doing 2 videos a week, and now we're going to go down to 1 time a week. Give us some feedback. Let us know how you like them. Thank you for being so faithful. Thank you for following us. Thank you for supporting our youth leaders as they have really stretched in this last 2 years, basically, to step into some new places, to develop new gift sets. And so they've been so great at doing that and have risen to the challenge in a beautiful way. So speaking of challenges, we're going to talk a little bit how we handle difficult circumstances and difficult situations. We know we have been through a lot in the last 2 years with the pandemic happening in 2020 and 2021, but we have all been able to adapt and to change. And so we're just going to talk about how we can do things a little better. And we're going to take a look at one of the greatest victories that are in the Bible and how we can glean from that and apply it to our own lives today. We're going to talk about Joshua. And so many of you probably remember the story, the Bible story, about the march around Jericho and how the walls came down. And so if you will go with me and turn with me to Joshua 6, we'll just kind of paraphrase a little bit of what happened. So Joshua is a new leader, and he is taking God's people, the Israelites, into the promised land. And they come up against the very first city that they're going to have to conquer, and it's Jericho. And it has huge fortified walls around it. The Lord gave Joshua some instructions, and he told him, this is what you're going to do. You're going to walk around the city and no one talk. For 6 days, you're going to walk around it 1 time. On the 7th day, you're going to walk around it 7 times. And on the 7th time, you're going to shout and blow the ram's horn, and all the walls came crumbling down. The Lord moved on their behalf. So we're going to look at some of the keys that they had in there. One of the biggest things is when you come to a situation or a circumstance that seems extremely difficult, instead of focusing on what you can't do, instead of focusing on the impossibility of it, focus on God. What you focus on becomes bigger in your mind. So if you continue to focus on the problem, it's just going to grow and grow and grow until it consumes you, and then you get paralyzed in fear and you don't do anything. But if you focus on God, He becomes to be bigger than the problem, and He has the answers for you. He has strategies for you. And how can we focus on God? Well, we can take time by stopping and just praying about the situation. Asking the Lord, Lord, what's your strategy in this? How can I do better at school? How can I honor my family? There's nothing too small to pray about. You can also draw close to the Lord and focus on Him by reading the Word and His promises to you. He says He'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. Matthew 19:26 says that He is the God of the impossible, and that which is impossible with man is possible with God. He was not surprised by the city of Jericho. He's not surprised by the circumstances in your life. One time, my husband and I lived in a home in Covington, and we found out that we lived in a floodplain. And the insurance company was going to charge us this astronomical amount of money for insurance every year to live in our home. And so I really see no way out of it and really began to seek the Lord. So I got in the Word, and He gave me some promises that He was the way maker. And I prayed that every day, and I sought the Lord every day. And the Lord began to give us strategies. You'll need to get a survey of your land and then apply to the federal FEMA program to get out of the floodplain. And we didn't know how to do any of that stuff, but the Lord began to put things in place. And then we applied to get our land out of the floodplain, and we were granted that. That was a miracle. And so then we didn't have to pay the extra insurance premiums. The Lord was so faithful. So He took an impossible situation and He brought a breakthrough for us, and He will do the same thing for you. The other thing that we can do is to keep doing what we're supposed to be doing. The Israelites did not stop after the first day. They didn't stop after the second day. They probably didn't see any crack in any of the walls. They kept doing what the Lord had told them to do. And we have to do the same. We have to keep doing what we're supposed to do. Keep reading the Word. Keep continuing to pray about it. And in the natural, you go to school. Say you're struggling with a test. Maybe you're struggling with a class and you think you're going to fail. Well, cutting that class and cutting school and not going isn't going to help you. You keep going to the class. You reach out for help. Maybe they have tutoring available. You continue to do what you're supposed to do, and then God will do what He needs to do. I'm sure the Israelites were a little weary by the 6th day of not seeing any change, but they kept walking and they kept doing what God wanted them to do. And then suddenly, God moved on their behalf, and the walls came down. Suddenly, when you take that exam at the end of the semester, you get an A on it, and you're so amazed at what God had done. And when that happens, we always want to remember to be thankful and to rejoice in what God has done for you and what He will continue to do. And when you come through a situation, you will look back and say, oh, God did that for me. And your faith is strengthened in Him. And when you face another difficult situation, you're going to remember what God did for you. And He's going to help you again. And so like for us, my husband and I, we know God supplies and He brings strategies and can make a way where it just looks impossible. So remember that God's always working on your behalf, and He can take something that you think is so bad and difficult, and He can bring something good out of it. So thank you for joining me today. I pray that these keys will help you as you grow in your walk with the Lord. And remember, God is the God of the impossible.